crack open some Bud Lights. No takers?
Sorry?
No takers?
What's
Bud
that?
Light?
Huh?
Bud Light?
Not for lunch.
I don't drink beer anyways.
You don't?
No.
Good for you.
Not a beer drinker.
Oh, you're more like wine or
No, liquor.
liquor. There you go.
But I didn't start drinking until I was 41.
Oh, I see.
And kind
Liver's
of,
nice and healthy.
yeah, I don't, it just, if I feel like drinking, I'll have a couple, but I don't need to get drunk or
I see.
I don't do any type of recreational drugs or anything.
All right.
Especially if I'm driving, I don't touch any alcohol. I was like, I'm driving for 2.5 years. I've seen too much stuff on the road.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't need that.
Good for you.
Have you seen that 3D camera, I mean the 360 camera that LG has?
Yeah. I saw the one that Samsung has, but I'm sure. I haven't seen the LG. It's a little golf ball. Is it like the.
No, it looks like a stick.
Okay.
But when you're looking at the video, like they have an animation of a roller coaster. So you're looking at the roller coaster in front of you, it's just going along. So if you turn the phone, you're actually looking off to your right, your left, or looking off to your right of the roller coaster, and you're still moving. You can look up, and look down, behind you. Pretty awesome.
To your back seat, your favorite back seat. No, you can sit wherever you want. It's
Well,
fine with
up
me.
here. How's it going?
Good, how are you? Thank you. Hi.
Anthony.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so let's do this. Anthony will talk about mostly AR today,
Yes.
as related to real estate applications. And I really like this because we try to get companies here that we think will disrupt the industry. And this could be one of those technologies. I think with these kinds of technologies in the future, real estate will be done very, very differently. So let's do this, Anthony.
Thank you. So, if I didn't already talk to you, my name's Anthony with D3 Creative Studio. I'm the founder. Let's get started here. So, started the company back in 2013. Was working full-time at Chico's, and was doing this on the side in my spare bedroom with a buddy of mine, and 12-pack of Red Bull, and staying up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And
That's
doing
normal.
that.
That's
Yeah.
how it should be done.
And really getting to my wife with waking her up in the middle of the night. So I had enough of that over about a year and a half, and left, and now I've been full time since February last year. So we are right down the street here. We're off Hendry Street in the old Robin Stuckey building. And our team is growing. So my wife is the COO and co-founder. And then to the right is Guy, who's kind of heads up all of our interactive and art stuff. So he oversees all the interactive and still image renderings. And we're growing. We are looking at hiring sales and project managers. So if you guys know anybody, you got my card, so let me know. So our services. So we do, kind of our bread and butter is photorealistic renderings and animations. That's kind of what you see everywhere on the billboards or on the marketing materials for new communities, new construction. Some of the 5 things that about photorealistic renderings, I think everybody kind of gets it. So really sparking that connection with the audience is what we focus on. So attention to detail. The way that the image looks, it sets a mood for that viewer. So want to make sure that mood is the right, right mood according to that brand. So builder A might have a different look that they're trying to go for, a different mood they're trying to set. So we work very closely with them to try to make sure that it feels right. One of our animations that we recently did is for Babcock, which is a really cool project. If you guys haven't heard about it, I know some of you guys have. But it's all focused on sustainability. So a lot of the stuff, like 90% of the site is being built on previously disturbed land, things like that. But really, the reason I'm showing you this is just an example of the level of attention and detail we put into each project. There's subtle little nuances that if we got it wrong, you guys would pick up on. So.
How long did it take to make this video?
So this is about 2 minutes, and it took about 4 months. Yeah, the entire site had to be modeled. Each house had to be modeled. Each bush had to be placed. Just the amount of work. It took 4 guys, 4 months. So, and I was working on the weekends and at night. That was just a lot of stuff.
This looks very cool.
So, move on to the AR. Just you guys want to watch the rest of it?
We will definitely watch it and go to your site.
Okay.
This is very cool.
So augmented reality. I think that's kind of the reason why some of you guys are here. So we launched the Inspired app last August, September, and that we've put our energy into the real estate market. Nobody right now is doing it in our space. We're kind of the first one, especially in Southwest Florida, but we're also the first in the country. One of the first. There's a couple other guys out of Silicon Valley and one other guy out of New York. But there's very few of us. And we've actually, since our launch, we've picked up a few clients around the area, and we're looking to take it to more of a statewide level, and then after that, a national level. So without further ado, let me go ahead and switch on this AirPlay here. You should have, yeah.
There you go.
So this printed out, this is one of our recent projects for a company out of Cape Coral. So you can kind of see that wow sizzle that it kind of creates for the audience. So this is
Yeah.
So cool.
And the reason I printed out black and white is because there's nothing, the paper is just regular paper, and you don't even need to be in color. So, cool thing is it'll pick up that one,
What?
that one, and then we can actually turn the roof off and look inside.
That's amazing.
Do you have major home builders on this at all?
This is Ashton Woods, which was, they're one of our bigger clients.
Yeah.
But we're actually finding that some of the small builders are taking the risk because there's not as many hoops to jump through at a corporate level. So they're able to see it, embrace it, and run with it, which has been phenomenal to us.
That's awesome.
So
all that 3D information is contained in the image itself?
actually, the image is solely a tracker. It's connected to the CMS, to the database, and what makes it unique is it is recognizing contrast on paper. So differences in contrast is how it basically knows where to put all those little points from the 3D model. So.
So, but is there some identifier, like the, based on which, how do you build up the model? I mean, somehow it has to recognize that this is that and that is
Correct.
that.
Yeah, so, I don't know if you guys wanna.
Yeah, take a look. You can drive that one, okay? Not the drone, but this one you can drive.
So the technology behind it, to answer your question, is we create the 3D content, and then we optimize it for mobile. And what we do is we actually use a software engine that's used for video games, Unity, if you guys know, Unreal. This is done with Unity. But we optimize the model, create the model, optimize the model, and then we host it on our finger.
Didn't know where the camera was.
And then we host it on our web-based CMS, and then it all speaks to each other when each device is downloading it.
So how long this kind of model to build up?
So for an interior or for an exterior, we're about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
For something custom like this 3-story house on the water,
Mm-hmm.
waterfront, but we're constantly optimizing our pipeline and workflow to get things done faster and more efficiently and lower the bar of entry, lower and lower and lower until we can hit a mass market and roll it out. So.
And then what about the interior? So, because
interior-
you can look at it all around from the outside, but then you can take the roof off and then you see all the interior.
Correct. So they're separate tiers. So
Mhm.
there's the exterior and then the interior and exterior. When we do the interior, it adds another 2, depending on the level of complexity, 2 to 3 weeks on top of whatever we're doing. And again, we're still refining that. And the process of getting something from a floor plan, PDF, or a sketch to this is really, you send us the information, you send us the materials that you want us to use, you send us the CAD files for the floor plan elevation, and we do the rest. We'll work with you, we'll send you a proof, and it's pretty seamless. And we can scale if we do 1, if we do 5, if we do 10 at a time. We can scale instantly to keep up with the demand.
Very nice. And then you have pre-made objects which you place into these houses? Or
Correct.
how does that go?
We have a library of low poly assets that we pull from for furniture or for tables. We can do custom anything, but there's a price tag associated with that. But most times, clients are good with the off-the-shelf, they're contemporary, looking furniture pieces. And
Take a look.
So.
Could you give it to her?
So, any questions on AR while I have it on?
Yeah, point the camera at it.
I have
Go ahead.
I have a strange question.
Yes.
Could you just do this for houses, or like Shauna here is getting married in a few months? Could you like pull up, if she had that kind of money, like a version of what her wedding could look like her reception and her ceremony, or?
Yeah, like the
Like
tent
that
and all the tables
Yeah.
and that's something that could be done with it. Anything you can do in 3D, we can do that. So yes,
Cool.
that's something we could do. But for something like that, we would just do a still image of like a top-down view. It just makes more sense for that kind of thing. Because the number of times you would go and revise it and change it and move it, it doesn't make sense to do it.
Yeah.
This is for more of a Lennar that says, here's my Capri model that I'm going to build 1,000 of. Let's go ahead, and we know the Capri is not going to change. We can do color schemes for them, but they're rolling it out. They're selling it like hotcakes. And
Very cool. Just wondering.
yeah, but actually, we are looking at, we definitely want to stay in the real estate industry, but there are other markets like higher end luxury goods, like yachts and things like that, private jets. I mean, where there's only one Citation X can be built, we can do a really nice presentation that people of that caliber will expect when they are going to buy a plane. So,
So the application itself, which you built up on the mobile device, that is really reaching into a database, pulling these up, and kind of real time building it up, or how does that work architecture-wise?
sure. So the 3D model is housed in the cloud. It downloads a 3D file, and that 3D content then gets dropped on top of the paper. So it's already created. The textures are baked. So like all of this stuff, you see shadows. You see. There it is. So you see these shadows. Those are all pre-baked in before we upload it. So it takes a lot of stress off of the device itself. As you know, you have very limited processing power on these devices, and you have to make them compatible with older devices. So you don't want somebody with an older phone not being able to have the same experience. So we have to find the middle ground and cater to everybody.
You can take the roof off.
Yeah.
There is an on-off.
Yeah, we're actually we're going through version 2 right now. We're adding functionality. We're adding animations to the models. So that way we're doing like a construction time lapse, so you can see this house being built in front of your eyes. So that's the next iteration that we're working on, as well as some improvements to the UI UX, because it's just.
So basically your app is really just kind of a window which is
Exactly.
pulling all that info real time
Yep.
from the database to see this.
Correct.
So
The
it's all
previewer-
kind of real time per se rendered through your app.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
I mean-
it's pulled real time.
It's already rendered,
It's a
but
prepackaged.
it's
Yeah.
prepackaged, okay.
Exactly.
So basically in that case your mobile app doesn't do that much, so it doesn't really, the database is where it's already, all the information exists, isn't it?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yep. Exactly. And so on top of animated augmented models, we're also going to be doing 360 images you'll have little hotspots on there that you could use the accelerometer and look around. Actually, I should pull it up on one of those. That'll be incorporated into this, because that's another service that we do, but we're trying to tie everything into one little package.
So the other ones don't have the housing blueprints?
Yeah, correct. Some of them are exterior only, some of them are interior. We're working on ways to identify that so that people aren't. It's all part
But
of the
that's based on the
process.
client. I mean, some client may just want the outer shell to show, not the interior.
Exactly, and we're going back to Babcock. Those guys are super forward thinking, and we're actually going to be doing an augmented reality model of the site of some key areas on that property. So that's going to be we're working on that right now. So that'll be pretty cool. But what I was trying to get at is it's not just houses. It's commercial properties. It's new communities. I found that some of our clients, they're GCs, and they want to be able to really wow a presentation. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing. And we've been told that it helped to kind of stand up from the rest, and we'll take that.
So theoretically, I could have a map of a whole community, and then just the same way in 3D, I could look through the streets and all that.
Exactly.
That'd be really cool.
Just like go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, you said that you're focused on real estate, right?
Correct.
I mean, you could imagine other applications, but are you focused on real estate specifically for a strategic reason that you feel like would get the most leverage just staying there and really
Absolutely.
fine
Mostly
tuning?
because I have ADD, and if I focus on other places, I won't get anything done.
Right, I mean, if you're trying to do 10 different things.
Exactly.
you won't get-
And my wife
Same.
reminds me of that every day. So ladies out there. So, yeah, as we get bigger and as we scale, I definitely want to have different niche markets that we can tap into. But right now, we find that there's so much room for growth within the real estate industry that it doesn't make sense to try our cards anywhere else. So we're gonna stick with it. And like I said, we're finding that some of the little guys are really embracing it, right? But also awareness is building up. If I would have told you this, a year ago, you'd have looked at me like I was crazy. Maybe some of you guys are right now, which is okay. But people have, Oculus Rift coming out, VR, AR is becoming more, trending, and so that helps to really explain it. So the ones that are adopting it early are going to reap the most benefits. So that's what we're continuing to build on that, and we see the momentum growing. So we're preparing for it, and hopefully,
Look how cool that is. It looks like it's standing right on the table behind people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very cool.
the more, the more vertical you go with this, the more impressive it is. So like we're working on a high rise, and that is impressive because it's 40 stories, and it's like you're looking.
In that case, would you
Presents
be
its
able
own
to keep the
challenges.
3D model in place even though the camera isn't on the paper? If you're looking at it from the side.
Well, that's one of the challenges, because if you can't do this, you have to do this.
Right.
So we're working on some ways around that, but it's still pretty impressive when you pull back and you see the whole thing. Yeah, because when the glancing angle like this is kind of the best. So you can.
So there is a certain angle after which, as
Exactly. You
we
kind
can
of
see.
And the other thing with that going forward, we won't be printing these on glossy paper because the reflections.
These work way better. They like show up instantly.
Yeah, the glossy paper tends to reflect light and mess with the camera.
The shaders look better too on these too.
Oh.
That's probably because of the
Shaders, huh? You're into 3D, huh?
the
Alright.
Media Max, Cinema 4D, Houdini,
Cool. I'll talk to you afterwards.
shaders, Node-based, AngularJS.
All right.
That's why he's here, because I want you to
Good.
talk. Yeah.
So AR.
Yeah, very cool. You said that you have some kind of 3D, 360 look around kind of.
Yes, that's what I'll do that on this next one.
Okay.
So another one of our services. Oh, got switch all off. I got it for you. Okay, so interactive. This is another cool. Actually, my iPad is it? Let me see. Is that it right there? Okay. Switch back.
Oh, okay.
So this is taking it a step further. Some of our clients want to have the AR, some don't. Some want to have customization capabilities on the interior. So this solution can be ported to either iOS, it can be ported to a tablet, to a kiosk that's in a sales center, which we have a demo in the office, which I really didn't want to lug over here. But that, so you could do the web, you could do apps, kiosk, the sky's the limit. Anywhere you can port it out to, that's that.
How long does it take to basically take a property from the blueprint and analyze it and to import it with all the
To
models,
create something like
textures,
this?
Shaders.
Yeah, so when we first started, it took a really long time, probably in the neighborhood of 2 months, which is not, we were learning a lot of things along the way. We've managed to cut it down to about 2 to 3 weeks now for something like this, because we know what we can do, what we can't do, we know what we need up front. So and we're continuing to find plugins and things that can speed up our workflow.
That'd be crazy if the back end could all be automated, where you get like a property and you can just be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna scan it and like, we'll get it back to you like later today.
If you could code it, then that would be higher today, higher price. Which is what we'd love to, I'm sure there's gonna be some way to do it in the near future, but we wanna stay ahead of it and, adapt to it. So really the core features of this are allowing the user to change, cabinet colors and real time. This is real time, so it's using the graphics processor of the tablet to crunch all the shadows and everything.
It's beautiful.
That's very nice.
Looks even better on 4K.
Yeah.
But
That's crazy how much control that you have with each individual model, and that's crazy that you guys actually made each individual model, and you even have like a imported Revo slider on that TV and
oh yeah,
crazy stuff.
yeah, we there's
There's a lot of
definitely
detail.
a lot of
Details. That's why I'm wondering how long did this
Yeah.
like a model?
well, and like I said, we have standard libraries now that we didn't have before.
Just import the different objects, so you create all the models to standardize the action. What is it?
Exactly. So, and then we are tying it into social media, so you'll have Facebook login, and then you can customize it and then share it on Facebook.
So you took a picture and then
Exactly,
post that. Mhm.
Yep.
Very nice.
So that is the interactive part. Go back to this. Really, I think. Well, we kind of talked about the technology behind it. Any other questions on that? AR, VR?
Well, speaking of the distinction, it kind of makes me wonder, when you're, like, going back to the AR example, would you be able to achieve that without having the piece of paper there? I mean,
Yes.
in principle, you should be able to.
We can do object-based tracking, which we could track that object, track a chair, and augment something on top of that. We could do geolocation tracking, which is still a little primitive. It's not that great. There are a few other ways we can do it. What else?
So the main problem is getting the surface and the right dimensions in reality to actually project that virtual environment onto.
Well, once the tracker, once the app senses and knows that what is this thing, by the way?
Those are lights.
Oh. When the light is tracked, it'll put a
You can do like this.
So when it tracks this light and it says, okay, there's a light, there's this object here, it could display something next to it. We can in the back end, we can say, okay, this light is right here. To the right of it, or behind it, or above it, we can put an object below it. And like I said, we're animating now, so we can do things like things will jump over the light, or things encircle the light.
Yeah. But I mean, of course, you can just have that environment be purely virtual on the screen without having to interact with the actual environment. Do you think it adds a lot more to the experience for it to be actually, to have the table behind?
I got what you're saying, yeah. So if you were just to say, I want to use this surface and plop that model on it.
Or even just say, you want the house to appear here, sort of, when you have the iPad here, and be able to go around it, but not actually have any of the environment be in that picture. I mean, just basically have a virtual environment on the iPad, right, without having any of those interactions with the camera even.
Yeah.
Is that not as good of an experience for the user?
Well, I want to really understand your question, so maybe afterwards we can,
Yeah.
you and I can just chat about it, because I know there's so many different ways to skin this. Technology's there. It's just a matter of applying it and getting creative.
Yeah.
So. Oh, and one cool little tidbit. How much what are we doing with time?
Yeah.
So AR has been, I was doing some research on the history of augmented reality, and some of the earliest traces are from 1901. And you're like, what? 1901? So Frank Baum, he wrote the Wizard of Oz. One of his novels, he wrote about a fantasy and science devices, and one of them were spectacles that could see things above somebody's forehead when they could tell what kind of person they are based on just looking at them. So I thought that was kind of interesting that somebody was thinking about something
Cool.
like that way back when. But really, AR just it's still getting traction, but it's been early 90s, got a little bit of traction. Hardware, now we have the hardware to support it. So now is when we believe that we're going to realize on that technology, we'll be able to, it's really going to take off.
I have a question. Let's say you have a vacant piece of property and you want to project your house on that vacant piece of property.
Yep.
Could you do that?
So we haven't tried it, but that's with geolocation based. So it would know the coordinates, GPS, use your phone, and should project. It should have a augmented model on there.
What about putting something on the lot, like a reflector or something that your camera can pick up, that you can focus it on and...
The distance you would need, the size of that tracker would have to be like a sheet of plywood. Sure, we could probably do it, but we'd look at other ways to do it where it wasn't so cumbersome to have to place it.
Carry around a sheet of plywood.
Exactly. But good question. I know where you're going with that.
How much does something like this cost? So to build a model of the house, how much do they pay you to do that?
Another good question.
Yeah.
So for something like an exterior only, your typical 3 or 4 bedroom, 2 bath, 3 bath house starts anywhere from $1,750 and up.
Okay.
We host the model on our cloud. We handle all of the times that it's tracked in the system, so there's no additional fees. What's that?
All the analytics.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the other component to the next update, or maybe it'll be on the 3rd version, is really getting some analytics that we can provide our clients and say, it was downloaded 100 times this month, or, so they can track an ROI, do their thing.
Does somebody get like a rental business, like my dad, for example, where they get listings and stuff, as opposed to using like a virtual tour? I feel like this would be so much better. But with the turnaround time of the development, that's the thing.
Yeah. So like a rental property where, like a vacation rental?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or just like listings or any type of different stuff. Is this only for
I
just
think-
properties just for sale?
Yeah, well, so what we found, and may change, but we found that, these guys are building a whole bunch of these, so they can absorb the cost in, 20 homes they could build, whereas if it's just one unique property, might be a little bit challenging because of the cost involved but certainly possible. We can,
Yeah, the way to make that efficient, I see, is you create like standard object, like animation recognition models, where it's like the different.
Oh, this stuff?
Yeah.
Oh no, this is all existing. That's the other thing. These were already existing from the developer. So we just took their flyer and we scanned the image and made that. So you can take a picture of anything. Take a picture of Peter and put a house on top.
You don't want to see me in 3D. No way.
So, yeah.
But theoretically, if, for example, in case of a rental property, it's rented over and over and over again. So this one, once done, you can use it for so
Absolutely.
many years.
Yeah.
Because the property gonna be, especially if it's more of a vacation type home,
Yeah.
then the frequency of the rental will be pretty high.
Exactly.
So,
It all depends on if it was. Yeah. So vacation might be a good model because it's rented by the week and it's multiple times a year, where you could, you know, account for that versus one you might get.
Yeah, I rent it and then
Rent it in
3
5
years I
years.
live, exactly,
Yeah.
in that case probably.
But yeah, no, that's actually, that makes sense.
I was just curious, it's awesome. I just like to ask questions.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's a very small intake. So, a few of our partners that we're working with, and that's really it.
So all these guys probably build hundreds of units. That's why they are. That was their main reason using you.
Exactly. Yep.
Have you worked with more real estate agents selling higher value properties, or nobody yet approached you on that level?
I've talked to a few real estate agents about it, but
Mhm.
we haven't really done anything.
Were they interested?
I think there was interest there, yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know, there was
Mm.
there's no follow-up, so I don't know if the cost was an issue or if it was just they couldn't sell it. So a lot of times when it's a larger company with new technology, until it's tried and proven and everybody else is doing it, that's when those guys will start to get on board and they'll be rushing to try to catch up. So,
I mean, these are big names. I mean, theoretically,
yeah.
based on this one, others may follow suit.
Mhm.
Hopefully they will, for sure.
Again, it's been myself, it's been, my wife who's just now getting on board with me, in full-time, and Guy, my art guy. So it's been us, it's just a skeleton crew. We scale as we need to. I have other people in Miami and Tampa that I tap into when I need help. But really, we're still concentrated on Collier County and Lee County. We haven't really gotten out of that whole area. So our goals are statewide, so we're trying to get into Miami, larger markets, but we need to scale, it's
Yeah.
the next step.
Did you want to ask a question? No? Okay.
Accepting investors as well.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple bucks laying around.
Yeah. Yeah. Some changes, bring it in.
Yeah. So,
All right. Cool.
yeah, if anybody has any questions, I'll be here. If not, thank you guys for coming. And,
Great.
if you
Thanks
didn't-
much.
Thank you.
Great talk.
If you didn't get my card, let me